how I was able to see the tapes. This is why she think I saw them, and I saw some things that were unreal, and I saw celebrities on the tape.
Oh.
Door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne. There was a couch, and Will was bent over on the couch, and Dwayne was standing up, killing him. Murder.
This is Will Smith's.
I don't know if Will Smith has surgery on his or what, but that mother.
I have a career, I'm an artist, I have a lot of things to lose.
He in the corner screaming, balled up, right? Like I could feel his pain, like he had been raped, like he had been forced to do something.
What happens when one celebrity rumor refuses to die? And every few months, it comes back louder than before. Today, the internet is once again throwing Will Smith's name into a storm of serious allegations, old gossip, and new lawsuits. But here's the real question. Are people actually looking at facts, or are they just feeding a machine that thrives on shock? Because once a story like this starts moving online, it does not just stay a story anymore. It turns into a spectacle. And that is exactly why this conversation needs context. The transcript behind this video makes a lot of explosive claims about Will Smith, Bryce Gray, and other names connected to the entertainment industry. But claims are not the same thing as proof. Allegations are not the same thing as verified facts. And in a world where clips spread faster than truth, that difference matters. So let's slow it down and ask the one question most people skip. What is actually being said here, and why does it keep coming back? The transcript starts by stacking one accusation on top of another, pulling in old rumors, deleted posts, and people's past statements to create a bigger narrative. That is a common internet tactic. Instead of one clear event, you get a wall of names, dates, and emotional language. It feels convincing because it is overwhelming, but overwhelming is not the same thing as confirmed.
Open the door to Dwayne's dressing room, and that's when I see Dwayne and having anal sex with Will.
Let me process that for a second.
There was a couch, and Will was bent over on the couch, and Dwayne was standing up, killing him. Murder.
Okay. What did you do?
And when a story mixes legal claims with gossip and commentary, the audience can lose track of where fact ends and speculation begins. So what is the real hook here? Not just the celebrity name, it's the pattern. The transcript suggests there have been multiple allegations over time involving different people, including accusations of inappropriate behavior, personal misconduct, and manipulation. That's a serious mix, but the way these stories are presented online often matters as much as the stories themselves. A loud accusation can spread in minutes. A correction, if it comes at all, spreads in silence. That imbalance is exactly why viewers have to be careful. Because once people decide a narrative is already true, they stop asking the most important question: who has actually proven what? Then the story shifts into the more dramatic part, the idea that a younger performer was pulled into a world of power, mentorship, and influence. The transcript frames this as a relationship shaped by money, access, and manipulation. But even here, the same rule applies. A powerful story is not automatically a verified one. It may be emotionally compelling, it may sound believable, it even may fit a larger pattern people think they recognize. Still, believable is not the same as established, and that distinction is where responsible commentary begins.
And Charlie Mack, so Charlie was with me every step of the way. First out the limo, so Charlie has been with me, 30 years coming up in the business. So, he's surrounded by a whole lot of strength. He's surrounded by a whole lot of love. and all he has to do is add discipline, and he gonna be all right.
It's like Uncle Will, you know? Who is best to give you advice? And it's Will Smith, and I'm getting so much good advice. I got my first acting role, Empire, and it's changing my life. And it's like I'm listening from the greatest, and it's like making me well prepared to work with Taraji.
And this is where the conversation becomes bigger than any one person. Because whether the internet is discussing a celebrity, a manager, an assistant, or a performer, the real issue is the same: power dynamics. When someone has fame, money, access, or influence, every interaction around them gets filtered through that imbalance. That does not prove guilt, but it does explain why people react so strongly when accusations surface. The public sees a system where young or vulnerable people can feel pressured, unheard, or used. That fear is part of what keeps these stories alive. But here is the twist. The louder the internet gets, the harder it becomes to tell the difference between accountability and engagement bait. Some people repeat accusations because they want justice. Others repeat them because outrage gets clicks. And that is a huge difference.
Gray's wife calling 911 after escaping him at a Goodyear QT, claiming Gray hundreds of times, strangled her, and threatened her with a knife.
Once a scandal becomes content, everyone involved gets flattened into a headline. The alleged victim becomes a meme, the accused becomes a villain before any process unfolds, and the audience becomes a crowd cheering for the next ugly twist. So when the transcript brings up lawsuits, old interviews, deleted posts, and internet rumors, the safest way to read it is not as a final verdict. It is as a collage of claims. Some claims may later be supported, some may collapse, some may never be tested in public, but all of them are being used in the same way, to build a larger story that feels bigger than one incident. That is why viewers should stay alert. A viral narrative can feel complete long before the truth does.
Bryshere Gray. So long story short, when I'm in Chicago, this guy's acting erratic. Crazy. He's getting stopped by the cops. There's male prostitutes involved. There's mental illness involved. There's use involved. And I'm really trying to see what happened to this guy. And one day he said, "You know what happened. You know that Will R-worded me," or however y'all kind of say it on YouTube. "You know that Diddy and you know Charlie Mack made me suck his private part." Right? And I'm like, whoa, this was a full admittance. And he's going, and I'm like, I didn't know anything. He's in the corner, balled up, snot, so much sweating and pain that blood is coming from his nose, right? And this is me and him in a conversation. And he was like, "Please don't tell him. Please don't tell him." Will admitted to me that he had with Bryshere Gray, but it was consensual, right? So I'm like, okay, so now it's starting to make sense, because I would have never believed that the way this guy's acting, something had to happen. So now, Will told me, and this is going to be in paperwork and everything, right? So when Will told me that he did have sexual intercourse with Bryshere, he said Bryshere did ask him to stop. Will said he completed the act, then stopped. Right then and there, when a person says stop, that means stop. Period. So I do believe that Will assaulted Bryshere Gray. Charlie Mack and Will gets a lawyer for Bryshere, and they try to get me under NDA. I tell Will, I'm not signing. I don't even have an NDA with you. How am I getting an NDA with him? You understand what I'm saying? So I hire a lawyer, right? Mm-hmm. When I hire the lawyer, he comes back and say, "Listen, this is the best I can do." He said, "I'm going to have y'all do a mutual NDA, meaning that Bryshere can't tell people that you know that Will and Diddy." Now, and I want to say the R word, but I know we're on YouTube. Then you can't say nothing about him. So I said, okay, well, as long as he stopped telling people that I know what Will and Diddy did to him. You understand what I'm saying? Period. That was the problem. So there's legal paperwork, and it's all going to be, and you got to follow this case. You hold them down, because he was like, Charlie Mack is not going to be able to be there, because him and Charlie had something else going on. I arrived in Chicago for Empire. It's a damn mess. It's no other way to put it. This dude is going crazy, right? He's out there allegedly with male prostitutes. He's pissing in the trailer. He's acting psychotic, right?
The same thing he's doing now.
Beyond that. But this is why a show is going on. I pulled him to the side. I said, listen, I'm here to help you, and so forth and so on. So he was like, all right, I feel that. He said, everybody on the set know you. Everybody seem like they love you. Okay. I want to love you because everybody else love you. I said, if that's what you want to do, then do it. But he kept acting up. And then one day I said, what the F is wrong with you? And he was like, you know. He said, you know Will me. You know Diddy made me suck it. You know what's going on. You know Charlie made me suck. And I said, I have no idea what's going on. I have no idea. So he crying, no blood is coming from his nose. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I'm like, yo.
And let's be honest. Part of why this story spreads so fast is because people are drawn to the idea that fame hides a darker side. That suspicion is not random. Hollywood has a long history of ugly stories, hidden pressure, and public image management. So when a new accusation appears, people instantly connect it to everything they already believe. But that is also where misinformation grows. A true concern can be wrapped inside exaggeration. A real issue can be buried under sensationalism. Then nobody trusts anything. If there is one takeaway here, it is this. Do not confuse repetition with confirmation.
If he needs prayer, I don't even know what's going on.
They trying to slay him out so he'll feel too embarrassed to file his lawsuit against Diddy for what Will and Diddy did to him. With Jaden and Justin present, that tape exists.
Okay.
I really hope none of that baby oil was used on those kids. That would just be in bad taste. Baby oil on babies.
You can't say that the flavor camp was sponsored by Johnson & Johnson. You just come on. Come on.
Starting to sound that way, ain't it?
No.
All that talent, and they fucking and she let Charlie tune that boy up on coke, knowing that he was bipolar and had ADHD. What kind of mother would do that to her son? Turn him into a prostitute so you could pretend to be something more than what you are, which is nothing more than a Philly whore. You're a whore. You're a bigger whore than they're making your son out to be, that's for sure. Because he didn't have no choice. You was down by all. I'm sorry. The Bryshere conversation for me is not easy. Because I came to Belial and I asked Belial to help me save the kids, and all he was worried about was his book.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Don't nobody care about these kids. Don't nobody care about these kids.
The transcript wants you to feel like the allegations have already been proven because they're being told so confidently. But confidence is just delivery. It is not evidence. And in a story like this, careful viewers should ask three things. What is alleged? What is documented? And what is just internet noise? That mindset does not make you naive. It makes you harder to manipulate. Because once the internet decides someone is guilty, every news story gets forced into the same frame, every rumor becomes proof, and every new post becomes confirmation, and every old clip gets recycled to keep the cycle alive. That is how online outrage works. It feeds on memory, emotion, and assumptions. But the truth is usually slower, less dramatic, and more complicated than the content mill wants it to be. So what should we actually think about the Bryce Gray angle, the lawsuits, and the old rumors? We should think carefully. We should recognize that the transcript is presenting a very specific version of events, but that version is still built on claims that need verification. And we should also recognize something else. When stories about power and exploitation keep surfacing, it says something about the culture that produces them, not just the names attached to them. At the end of the day, this is not just about one celebrity scandal. It is about how quickly the internet turns accusation into entertainment. And that is dangerous, because once people stop asking for proof, the loudest story wins. My honest take? Stay skeptical, stay fair, and do not let a viral narrative do your thinking for you. Facts matter more than frenzy. Now, I want to know what you think. Do these stories get treated with enough skepticism online, or does the internet rush to judgment too fast? Drop your thoughts below, and if you want more commentary that cuts through the noise, hit subscribe and check out the next video.